Her tongue was stuck to the roof of her mouth because his hand was still on her back, and her body's response was to shoot heat rockets throughout her limbs. She was pathetic. It was a back, not a breast, not a thigh. And by the time she'd recovered her composure, Levi had already dropped his palm and moved on to greet the finance director. He also turned and greeted Ed, the groundskeeper, giving both men equal time and respect. That was one thing she loved about Levi. He never put on airs. The guy had grown up in a mansion, but you'd never know it. He was as down-to-earth as they came. Of course, that didn't stop Emily from getting nervous around him, but that was because he was the sexiest man she'd ever known. And she had way too many womanly hormones coursing through her when he was near. She gulped down the glass of champagne and squeezed her eyes closed as bubbles tickled the back of her throat. She signaled for another. She'd gone over everything 3 or 4 times. The party would run efficiently with or without her complete sobriety. Tonight, in this dress, with Levi looking dashing in his casual suit, she needed something to numb her overactive imagination.
Levi made the rounds at Esther's party, sending a warm smile to the guest of honor. Esther would be sorely missed, and not just because she kept this place running. She made Club Tahoe tolerable. But for the first time since Levi began his sentence as CEO, he thought he might have another reason to tolerate the old place. Levi Cades had noticed and admired just about every part of a woman's body since he was 14 years old, but he might have missed one incredibly sexy aspect. Since when did a woman's back become the center of attention? Damn if Emily in that dress hadn't stopped him in his tracks after he'd entered the room. Normally, Emily wore fitted skirts, which he greatly appreciated. His assistant had a nice backside, and it gave a man something to look forward to each day, even if all he did was look. However, tonight she'd surprised him and shown off the upper body she usually hid under boxy blouses and cardigans. The elegant fabric of her dress covered most of her body, but the dressmaker had done all of mankind a solid and cut out the fabric on her back. She was tall, with a small waist, and now that she wasn't hiding her torso with ill-fitting tops, he was able to take in her small, shapely breasts, too, covered though they were. Her back, however, was all creamy skin, toned, and with delicate bone structure that drew a man's eye to the heart-shaped thing of beauty resting at the bottom of her spine. Tonight was a night to celebrate. Perfectly acceptable for a man to stare at his assistant's ass, right? Technically, he wasn't working, so he didn't think he was breaking any boss-employee rules. He made a mental note to check the HR forms just to be safe, not because he planned to go near Emily, though he had touched her bared skin, purely to get her attention. Had nothing to do with being drawn to her beauty like a bug to the neon light that would be its death. No, Levi had no intention of going near Lisa's little sister. Emily was a Wright, and Wright women were beautiful, but not to be trusted. Even the damn name lured men in, giving them a false sense of security. Right, as though everything would be all right. But if you got close enough, zap, just like the damn bug zapper. She'd take your heart and crush it in her soft hands, then stomp on it with her pointy heel for good measure. Been there, done that. Not doing it again. Levi lifted his chin at his brother Hunt, another reminder of the past and women to avoid. Only Hunt wasn't looking at Levi. Hunt's eyes were on Emily. God damn it. Excuse me? One of the head chefs glanced at Levi. He cleared his throat. Godric Hammett. I see Mr. Hammett just arrived. He waved vaguely. I should greet him. Excuse me. Leave it to Hunt to scout out the most beautiful woman in the room. And since when had Emily become the most beautiful woman in this place? She usually wore no makeup and shapeless tops and hid behind her handheld tablet. Levi preferred her that way.